We are Two Guys Playing Zelda, and you can follow us on Twitter at Two Guys Play Zelda or email us at twoguysPlayingZelda@gmail.com.
Welcome to the first part of our walkthrough of Jabu Jabu's Belly. It's the third dungeon and final dungeon as Young Link in Ocarina of Time.
And personally, not really one of my favorite dungeons.
But I will say, it is one of the more straightforward dungeons in Ocarina of Time. As long as you don't fall in a few certain places, you can get through it pretty quick.
It is pretty easy. I don't know, just the whole thing about being a fish and just... I don't know, being in the belly of a fish is a dungeon. Like, I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me.
I will say what you saw us do right there, we switched back to the Deku Shield. You'll see later on we use it, you see these Octo Rocks shoot at us continually throughout the dungeon, and having the Deku Shield actually lets us reflect those shots back at them, whereas the Hylian Shield,
The Hylian Shield just like covers the top of your body. You actually can't even use one of those guys right there, so.
Yeah. But also you'll see in this dungeon, we run around a lot of enemies, don't even worry about fighting.
Yeah, there's no point on a lot of them, so.
There are very few rooms where you actually have to kill all the enemies in the way.
Yeah, and just, I don't know, I always got a weird feeling. I mean, just, inside of a fish, and I just always get this really weird feeling in this dungeon.
And here we meet Princess Ruto, and I'll just be honest with
you. She's a...
nuisance. She's a handful, annoying. You have to carry her for half this dungeon.
She's a princess. She's a princess.
She is a princess.
She has spoiled our life, and now we got to spoil her.
And here she's telling you that she didn't send the message in the bottle. She doesn't care. She doesn't want you to rescue her. And she's full of crap. Because
she's a pain. She's a pain.
As you tell, she immediately falls in the first hole she finds.
I mean, like, you couldn't see that little circly thing right there. I mean, something might be going on right there.
Yep. I will say, though, like we mentioned, it's a pretty straightforward dungeon, but in a room like this...
Don't miss the ledge.
Don't miss the ledges. Don't fall off the ledges. For the love of God, don't throw Princess Ruto off the ledges.
I didn't even think about doing that. Yeah, that would really screw up the dungeon.
Yeah, that's when the dungeon can get complicated. But as long as you're careful, it is pretty straightforward.
Yeah. We had a good walkthrough, I feel, on this one. So, yeah, as long as you just kind of follow along right here, you'll be fine on this one.
Yep. And here, you have to talk to Ruto a few times to even get her.
And it's very important, you got to talk to her, because if you don't, you got to talk to her twice to even get her to come with you.
Yep. Make sure you don't give up after the first try, just like pursuing a real woman, are we right? Sorry. Anyway, so now you can pick up Ruto, and here's a nice little part, though. You can kind of get your revenge on her, because you can use her as a projectile
Yeah, you can't
weapon.
throw women in real life, though.
Disclaimer. We don't recommend doing this to real women. But in Zelda, Ruto makes a great projectile weapon. She'll kill the bubble enemies. She'll also activate some switches if you really need to. Another very important note.
Yeah, but you got lucky when you did that.
That is true. Not so much there. I threw it right into the wall. A very important note there. The switch in the middle will raise the water level. And if you do that while you still have Ruto with you, she will transport back to that earlier room.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
She's apparently a Zora who hates deep water, which makes no sense.
That makes no sense. She's a princess. It makes sense.
Yeah.
She's a Zora. She can't even swim.
Yep. And these little fish, whatever kind of enemies they are a bit of a pain.
Yeah, I think they're easy just to go ahead and kill.
Yeah, they can be tough to hit with your slingshot, though, because they do move around a lot. You have to get close to them to even get them to come out of the water. It can be a struggle.
You can't kill those with the slingshot right there. You gotta use your sword. When we get the boomerang later on,
or the Deku
be able
nuts.
To use that. Yeah, Deku nuts will also work. That's true. That is true.
Are very good for
which
killing
you had
those
handy
bugs.
with you and didn't use.
Yeah. Don't ask. So here's the first gold Skulltula here in this dungeon. Not my finest shooting effort.
And you'll want to get these early on because when you get 10, 20, and 30, I know 2 of them are the wallets.
Yep.
And then I can't remember what the second
maybe
one
a seed bag for the slingshot. I don't remember.
No. But there's a wallet at 10, something at 20, and then another wallet at 30. So you want to get these early because it's going to help you on later in the game.
It's the only way you can carry more money later on.
I can't remember what 20 gives you.
Me neither. But yeah, you have to hit that switch to get the gold Skulltula, then you have to hit it again so you can get to the next platform.
Yeah, like I said, the gold Skulltula is definitely worth it there.
Yes, very much so. And again, as we mentioned, make sure you don't hit that switch while Ruto is in that lower pit.
I never knew that.
Oh, it's a pain. Trust me. That's one of those things that can make this dungeon very confusing if you do it wrong the first time.
Cause I think it's very easy. I think it's very easy to get lost in this dungeon.
It can
like if you're going straight forward, it's not too hard. But like if you have to backtrack, and we obviously didn't in this video.
Yep.
But I think if you have to backtrack a little bit, this dungeon could become very confusing.
Or you think about that room with the holes in it. If you fall down the wrong hole.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
It can turn to
yeah,
a
because I've done that a couple times. Yeah, that's true.
Yep. And there's where that Deku shield, like we mentioned earlier, comes in handy.
And I think, isn't there a hole down there you can swim into? But I don't think it is anything. But that thing, is there a hole down there?
There is a hole. If I remember correctly, it leads to a Deku shrub who sells you more Deku nuts.
Okay. I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't important for the dungeon.
Yeah, we have plenty. It's not worth the time.
Or sorry, the belly.
Yeah, the belly. It's a dungeon. And if you stand there long enough, Ruto will moan and complain.
Well, when you get to Ocarina, like in Link to the Past, they're all dungeons. But when you get to Ocarina, they're more temples. So you kind of
that is true.
I guess use them interchangeably.
We got things, especially here in the early going. You're inside a tree. You're inside a belly.
Yeah.
There's a
cavern.
And a cavern. Yes. Yeah, here, like we mentioned earlier, if you fall in those holes,
avoid them.
Yeah, it can get complicated. You do have to do a lot of backtracking.
You definitely want to avoid those.
So we just do our best. And here's, like we mentioned earlier, enemies, you don't even have to fight them.
Just go right by them.
And finally, Ruto starts to prove her usefulness.
And while if you have Ruto, they still tell you this, I don't know. Worst game developed ever.
I think the thought is in case you would have ran ahead and forgot to take her with you. Which is doable.
I know, but
still.
Hey, there's a couple bad things in Ocarina I gotta give them out because it's my favorite game.
Yep. But here we hit a series of pathways where just basically you have to go into each room and kill all the enemies to get, I believe you get the map, the compass, the boomerang.
Yeah, when you hit the tentacles too, to make the tentacles go away from the doors that we're going to enter later on.
Yes, very true. And we'll get to that here in just a minute. I believe this first room does get you the boomerang, the treasure for the dungeon, though.
It's either the first or the second one, I'm not sure.
It might be the map, actually. It's one or the other.
I think it... Well, we're going to find out here.
We'll find out
Every time we say something, it ends up being the other thing.
We do end
let's
up
just
being
wait
wrong.
to see what it is.
We'll quit speculating.
Well, is this the compass? Nope. And then like 10 minutes later, we get the compass.
Don't get me started on the fire temple. Anyway, so once you clear all the enemies, a treasure chest will appear. It's a big treasure chest, so it's something good.
Nope, the boomerang. Yes, you were correct. Yeah, we haven't got the dungeon map yet, have we?
No.
It's very rare to see an item before the dungeon map.
Oh,
I wonder if we get the dungeon map on. I know there's another side where you get something else. I wonder if we get the dungeon map there.
You might be able to get it first. You could when you hit.
If you go left instead of going right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious to see what happens there.
There's like a 5-way fork basically here that you can choose where you go. I just think.
But you can only go 2 directions. You can go left and right to begin because you have the tentacles.
Yep.
In front, you got to beat those tentacles.
And you'll see those here in just a second. Yeah. Again, avoid these enemies. There's no point in fighting them.
You can beat them with the boomerang though once you get them.
Yep. They're easy to dodge though.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder if you get the dungeon map right here. I'm not really sure what you get in this next room.
And we have to set, I believe we have to set Ruto down to hold this.
And then she complains like crazy when you come back out.
Yes, she does. She does not like being left alone.
No.
Actually, I guess we did have to get the boomerang first because you can't kill these tentacles.
Ooh, that's a very good point. Yes, you're correct. You are correct.
Don't even ask why I threw that boomerang through. Or that one.
So yes, we do have to get the boomerang first. I didn't even think about that.
Yep. You have to wait till the tentacle comes down.
And do that. And do that right there.
Yeah. I do good on some throws and not so good on others.
That's Zelda for us, period.
Yeah.
Like we always try to tell our viewers, we're not the advanced game players, I guess you could say.
We're not pros. We have fun with it.
We have fun doing it, but we're not the best.
And I believe it takes four boomerang hits to kill each of the tentacles. And as Hick mentioned earlier, when you kill that part of the tentacle, a tail somewhere else gets removed to open up a new pathway.
This got to be the dungeon map. There we go.
Which definitely helps. Like I said, it shows you the 5 paths you can kind of take right here. And once you get the compass, it's even better. It's easier to not get disoriented when you get the compass. But as I think you'll see me do probably a little later, where I'm trying to decide which way I want to go.
I don't know, just the doors open and felt weird with this dungeon too.
Plus these walls are moving and
just a lot of craziness going on with this dungeon.
I don't dislike it as much as Hick does. I actually enjoyed it a little bit, but it is because it is more straightforward.
Yeah.
That could be good or bad. If you like more of a challenge, it's probably the dungeon
really,
for you.
like you said, if you go the wrong way, or if you drop down in a certain area, or throw the princess off, or ledge, which it can make the dungeon pretty difficult.
And here Navi tells you that the slimy tail is gone because you killed the, I guess, head of whatever.
Yes, or the tentacle, or the whatever.
Intestinal worm.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The craziness going on in Jabu Jabu's belly.
Yep. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I do a little bit. Well, not there.
There you go. Good talking. Good talking. Yeah, you do.
I thought I did a lot better job on this one, but that didn't really show it. But the boomerang is a great, handy, ranged weapon, and unlike the slingshot, it'll actually bring items back to you as well, which is useful for some Skulltulas you'll see later on.
The one thing I didn't like about this game is that how you got the boomerang right here, and then you went to the Temple of Time, you became adult, and then the boomerang couldn't use anymore. Very true. Really, you didn't even get to use the boomerang that long in this game at all.
You get to use it for this temple and maybe a little bit in the spirit temple.
I mean, you can always go back. You can always go back as a kid, and get heart pieces and stuff with it. But I kind of would just like to been able to use it a little bit longer. I
agree.
Guess.
I agree. But now that we've killed that particularly colored, I guess it was a blue-colored tentacle.
I never even paid attention to the colors. Is there colors to them?
I think it's color-coded with the walls.
Oh, you could be right. I never. Like I said, every time you play this game, you learn something new.
So I'm pretty sure now you can go and get the compass, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think the compass is right here. So is this tentacle going to be orange, or
the last one I think is orange, maybe? Because I think we killed red and blue already.
Oh wait, there's bubbles in this room. I'm sorry, I'm totally on the wrong enemy.
Oh, and I don't even know why I started using the boomerang.
Yeah, Deku nuts right here
can take out a whole group of them.
Yes, and that's these bubbles are very hard to kill, so I would definitely recommend the Deku nuts.
Yep. And here is, I believe, where we do.
Yeah, it's got to be. It was only one. It's the third. We don't have the boss key in this early temple, so it's got to be the compass.
Yep. Get hearts if you need them. Get some rupees, some Deku nuts.
Plus, the boss key is a different colored treasure chest.
That is awesome. Yeah, so this is definitely the compass.
I hope it's not something else.
It's a big treasure chest. I think we're good. But I believe now we just have to go kill one more tentacle monster, and that will open the way into the rest
middle,
of the dungeon.
Yes.
It's
we also get that tentacle that's in where you can fall a bunch of places. You also get that tentacle too, which I think
I
the
believe that's the
middle
next one
one does that. I think.
And now that we have the compass, you can actually see that we're heading towards the middle one now, I believe. Again, just keep.
That? Is that what you want to do?
try to keep dodging those enemies. I mean, there's no point in fighting them again. But yeah, now we're gonna fight the final tentacle monster, and this one's tail was, as Hick mentioned, back at the room with all the holes.
Yes, it takes that one away.
Not my finest moments here.
Hey, it happens. Your Z targeting's pretty good right there, though.
It's not great.
And I think you want to go ahead and get these things out of the way first, because it just makes the tentacle easier to beat. In my opinion.
I agree. Now you have the whole room to run around while you're fighting the tentacle. I guess this might be green, actually.
Yeah, it looks a little more greenish. I never noticed the color. I mean,
I
have to go back and watch, but yeah. Never did notice it.
Yep. Again, 4 more hits on this guy, and that'll be the end of it. And this pretty much wraps up part 1 of our walkthrough of Jabu Jabu's Belly.